This is episode 10 and it's of the alternative history and future of the world. And we left with that's supposed to be we, wow. We left with something brewing up in China, but also in Indonesia. And that will be explained this episode. Also, let's just go over the radiation zones. The only radiation zone in the world. This one is going to shrink and a little bit over here, so it's getting more mainland. So this one will be on, soon. But we got more important matters. So what's going on in the world? It's a very chaotic time. It's around 1972 right now, and Japan is finally seeing some vulnerabilities. So over in Europe, there are talks in maybe a city in France or the UK. We'll just do it Dublin. There's a meeting. There's a meeting in Dublin, and it's about what to do with Japan because there's stuff brewing up in Japan. So they're having a meeting. The USA is also involved in this meeting because they are technically involved in the Allies, but also they're not actually in the Allies per se. But they are like kind of like actually involved with the politics. So it goes a couple of weeks, and meetings have done. They decide not to do anything right now, but on 72, uprisings in China start to become violent. April 17th, 8 a.m. Japan declares martial law in its Chinese state. Also, in its Indonesian puppet state. 10 a.m. The Allies meet up in Munich and have another emergency meeting. At 10:30 a.m., we have Japan going. We have Japan declaring a state of emergency. France now declares martial law. Italy declares martial law. Japanese Turkey declares martial law, and Iran declares martial law. Over in India, they also declare martial law. Over in Japanese Turkey, Japan orders Germany and Poland to get nuked. These nukes do not go over Hungary. They are shot down before they reach the targets, which is estimated to be Warsaw, Frankfurt, and Berlin. Germany retaliates with commanding Indochina to nuke Taiwan and a city in Japan, which Japan is unable to. Japan declares war on the Allies. Here we are, World War III. World War II happened 5 episodes ago. World War III is happening at episode 10. Now, this war is going to be fought is going to be a difficult to fight because you have one hand you'd have I forgot to color forgot to do this. We're also going to have to fix this. So this wasn't be difficult to fight for the Allies. I mean, they can just go to the Philippines, just over here. I'm also missing some other countries like Australia and New Zealand, so I also need to either be colored because they're in the war. Alright, so this is. Am I getting everyone? Yeah, I believe I'm getting everyone. So, why did this war happen? Well, in, earlier I was kind of going through why, but I didn't say fully why. Cold War has been tensions escalating all the time, like been through this whole time. Spies obviously, I didn't mention spies, but they were obviously like Germany, Italy, France, and like almost every nation on Earth had at one point a Japanese spy. Like even some African nations that we've heard of allies, even them. Um, so this is going to be a war that will shake the world forever. We have Japan. I'll get to that after I fix this. So, um, we have they had two nuclear bombs, and now they have zero nuclear bombs because they used the nuclear bombs on Taiwan, which is a core Japanese territory at this point, and they also used it on Japan. Which the city was kind of like a minor city. It wasn't really that important. Besides, like maybe it was mainly a naval base for Japan. But either way, it got nuked. All of the stuff here, military stuff, got nuked. I will go over the radiation zones at the end of the episode because it's going to be quite a lot. Because now Japan is now going to respond by nuking Europe. Japan sends 15 nuclear bombs at Europe, and 5 of them make their targets. We have a city in Germany. I need to make this bigger. A city in Germany, Polish city right up here. We have a major city in Italy being hit. We have a second city in Germany being hit, and in France we have a city right here getting hit. 5 nuclear bombs has been struck in Europe. Or 5 cities has been struck in Europe. Germany is going to respond by also nuking J- Japan. They also sent 15, but 8 of them strike. Right here, these strikes kill like millions of people, and especially in China, where they hit pretty densely populated areas. Um, the Chinese people in Japan are going to take this use this war as a point to get their independence. This is a Chinese rebellion, and it is essentially a breakaway. It will fight alongside the Allies, and we will have them try and get their independence back, as Japan fully annexed them earlier. So let's go over the fighting. Over in Papua New Guinea, we have an invasion from Australia in the target Indonesia, and we are also going to have a rebellion of 2 major islands. This island and this island, that one that's not so major, but these 2 islands break away for they break away from Japan for Indonesian independence, and they will go on an island hopping campaign and go and just continue to take islands and take territory, and they make these islands into a fortress. Australia is going to send soldiers up here to fight alongside them, while also fighting the Indonesian main army. We have Japanese Turkey and not Iran, and we have Belarus getting into this war. Belarus is already a major Japanese ally as they've grown ties before World War III started, and it is going to they're going to join this war, even though being kind of surrounded by um the Allies. They don't really care. It was like, yeah, whatever. We're gonna fight this. Restore glory to Belarus. And then on top, when they join, we have the Grand Duchy of Baltic States, St. Petersburg, and Ukraine joining the war to capitulate Belarus. In Africa, no one joins, but that could change. Over in Indochina, we now have fighting between Taiwan and Thailand and Indochina. Um, they do not rebel because Japan treated these as way better, even though they were forcefully invaded. There was like once again there was always um independent groups around, but it's like it's not big enough to spark anything. Over in China, we have um well more of this, but also in the red section of China, there's more ideals for rebellions and the breakaway from China and restore China. What Japanese does is a message to the whole world. Japan commits atrocities to the Chinese people. Eventually, it is mainstreamed from whatever TVs they have now, probably the box ones, or who knows. Um, that about Japanese atrocities in China and the world. If there's any slight hope for Japan for any more allies outside these three, it's not happening. Um, let's go over fighting in Europe. We have Belarus invading um St. Petersburg, again Duchy of Baltic States. Oh, not that. But they avoid this because this is all radiation. And then they also invade Poland, and we have Ukraine kind of doing okay, and Ukraine just used its nuclear bomb on on Belarus. Okay, so that takes the nuclear bombs from 1 to none. Japan will respond to this by also nuking Ukraine. They will nuke Crimea, Sevastopol. They will nuke over here, and Mariupol. I think that's Mariupol. But three times they are nuked, taking Japan's nuclear arsenal down to 142. Um, so we'll go over So what this nuclear bomb does? It collapses the whole front, across the whole border. Um, yeah, it's over for it's generally over. Um, for Belarus, the nuke. That nuke in particular killed many people, and it also killed important people in the country like the government leaders. But the prime minister of Belarus is still alive because he's in a bunker. But a lot of the major people in Belarus are dead because of the nuclear bomb. Um, so eventually they just surrender. They just surrender over. It was over immediately. And Greece once again joins this war because don't like how they don't like Turkey, and they don't like how there's a Japanese puppet state on the border. Syria will also get involved. Now, if you remember when Syria got independence during the Turkish Civil War, they were bullied by Japanese Turkey for them getting less land, and Iraq is going to do the same. And Georgia's honestly just gonna declare war on, like, all these guys joined the war for the same reason. They just don't like how a Japanese state is here, and oddly enough, but they want to bring back Turkey, the main Turkey. Same as Greece. Like, Greece doesn't like Turkey; they never have. But um, yeah, they will try to hold out, but it's just too many forces from each side. They're fighting a three-front war, so it's once again just gonna be a thunder. Bringing now to the Pacific. Now, what will Tibet, Xinjiang, and Mongolia do? Well, Mongolia is just gonna stay neutral. Mongolia um has been neutral the entire time once they got their independence. Um, they they're kind of allies with Japan, but also like they don't support what they're doing to the Chinese people. So on top of that, we also have India joining the war, and we'll have Tibet joining the war. But Xinjiang and Mongolia stay out of it. So let's get into the Tibetan troops. They will enter the country with around like 300,000 troops, but maybe not that much, like 180k, something around there. Um, the world is done with Japanese shenanigans, and they are going to do whatever they can in this war to get them out. So over here, this this whole area is getting cooked by Indochina, and then Bangkok is taken, and then they just surrender. Okay. Um, how about Indonesia? Oh, okay. Well, looks like Indonesia is out as well. Um, so now it's literally just Japan and and its ally and its Manchurian puppet state. But even this is starting to become stable. So, what will Japan do? They're gonna nuke literally everyone. They will nuke Indochina 2 times. They're gonna nuke India um a lot of times. Okay, that's a lot of nuclear bombs used. Greece, oh, you're getting nuked. Okay, well, Syria and Iraq got nuked for zero reason. Ukraine just got nuked 2 more times. Galicia gets nuked. St. Petersburg gets nuked, which might send the country into a frenzy. Uh, that city gets nuked, I forget the name of. And Italy gets nuked. Everything else gets intercepted. So this is an actual, like, this is, at this point, the world is, burning. A lot of people have died in the millions. Millions of people have died. Um, so let's go with a retaliator, another retaliatory strike from Germany. 2 nukes here. More nukes in the Korea, and 1 nuke over here. 1 nuke here, and 3 nukes here. Okay. All right. So from these strikes, it takes Germany's nukes down to 122. So a lot of nukes have been used so far. How about we get back to conventional warfare? More land being taken. This is fierce battles, heavy resistance from the Japanese. And we have a encirclement here, but it's like Japan in World War II, they will never surrender. It's going to be a continued. They're not going to surrender at all, and um, it's essentially just that. Now, European troops are now arriving into Japan. The year is around 1940. No, 19, not 1940. That's World War II. 1974, 1975. So the war's been going on painfully slow because of all the resistance. This area is completely done for. Um. Okay. So over here we have more pushbacks against the Japanese. Japanese will make a offensive over here, and it will give more hope for the Japanese, which indulges them not to surrender at all. So the Philippines actually should be colored in because they're an American colony. Now I say they're an American colony, but they really aren't. They're mainly American, but also independent. So it's kind of like how they will be getting independence after the war, most likely. But we have the Philippines going on the offensive into here. They gotta be careful though, cause that green dot, so they kind of move. Yeah, they can't invade the rest of that, but just for simplicity's sake, it's going under Allied control. There is no breakthroughs over here. It is locked, same as the rest. So it's once again going to become a stalemate, and we have another rebellion over here, and Japan thinks Manchuria got involved with this. Manchuria says, "Hey, no, we have nothing to do with this." They say liar, and they declare war on Manchuria. So very smart there. No, not on color. Very smart there, Japan. They had nothing to do with this, but you think they did? So they they okay. So this rebel group will continue. The Manchurians won't probably fight this. A part of this group are Manchurians, like over here, but they mainly want to become China again rather than Manchuria getting land. So we have now have forces into Manchuria. Sorry, did I say Manchuria over here? I meant Xinjiang. Same thing, different place. So we have over here we have pushed this back because of this rebellion, and eventually it's a front line that looks like this. All right, so this isn't going good for Japan. What will Japan do? Uh oh, they're not nuclearizing the nations. The student people have died. The death toll around at this point it's around midway of the war that I plan to end it on the year is so it's around the midpoint of the war. Approximately 50 million people have died, mainly due to nuclear bombs. But the nuclear strikes aren't done yet. Why would Japan end there? But we'll get to them when the time comes. So European forces are now fully flooding into China, meeting with what was the Chinese senators during World War II. Even though I think at that time they were part of the Axis, but for now they are not. And over here we have more pushes into this land was barely protected, so it's pretty easy until they actually meet fortifications. And um, yeah, Japan is going to nuke more nations. Oh God. Where are they gonna nuke now? Oh, Australia. So Australia is nuked 7 times. Um, over at North America, yeah, North America's unsafe either. A nuke is going to hit Vancouver. Cities in California are lit up, going all the way up to Oregon. We now have Baja California getting nuked, and yeah, this is going very bad. So now they have 104 nuclear bombs. So the number of nuclear bombs in Japan. So at this point, Japan has used 46 nuclear bombs, and in Germany, their number is at 122, so they use 18. Germany is going to use more. Um, we have uh, Tokyo getting nuked. I believe Tokyo is right there. We have this city getting nuked for this city there, and nuke. And it's around this time where the number of nuclear bombs in Asia, especially on the Japanese Isles, is too much, and the front line just begins to collapse. In China, due to soldiers not being able to get to the front lines, so we have a massive push into China and into their ally, which I never gave a name for. I think I gave it the Pacific States of China, but yeah, that's kind of over now. So it's essentially all of China is freed from Japanese rule. In this, and over here we have push out to here, but at this point Russia is like, oh yeah, we're getting in on this. Russia declares war on Japan, and their troops immediately sweep through Siberia, and they are looking to completely claim Siberia as they did before Japan stole it from them. Now they still have much of Siberia, but now they want all of it back. And the European leaders are like, we don't really have any problems with that. So once again, all the way up to here, and the Russian soldiers are now to have taken all of this island. Good luck with that, because that's a nuclear hellhole. Um, and essentially, Japan is left down to just Korea. I mean, good luck fighting through that. There's 5 nuclear bombs. Good luck fighting through that. But because it's fictional, they will fight through this, and it is just Japan. They will attempt to use more nuclear weapons, but all of them do not work. Japan's nuclear arsenal has been completely obliterated by the nuclear strikes, taking Japan's nuclear. They once had 104, because I haven't updated on the map. I have it written down. They actually have 25 nuclear bombs. There's 25 operational nuclear bombs, but as they try to launch them, Chinese states and provinces, municipalities take over Japan. World War III is the most deadliest war of the timeline, with a total casualty rate of 104 million dead. Missing, dead or missing. We'll say that, dead or missing. And it's World War III is over, and this peace treaty is going to be important. Let me just make up the peace treaty. All right, so in the peace treaty, I need to I'll do that later. In the peace treaty, China is back, and this Japanese allied country is gone. and Manchuria get annexed by China. That only makes sense. Korea is a unified nation. And what happens with Japan? Well, it got divided into 23 countries, I think. I'm not counting again, but the Japanese Isles is completely shattered into a whole bunch of different municipalities, states, provinces, whatever. And we have a couple of different treaties that are going to be signed due to World War III. And so, so first one, Treaty of Geneva. All these treaties are generally important to the series, but we have one Treaty of Geneva. This is year 1978. It is a global nuclear ban. It is signed by every major powers in the world. So every country in the world, all the major ones like India, Germany, France, USA, Canada, Australia, Poland, they all sign it after death and destruction that has happened. The terms of this treaty: one completely dismantling of all remaining nuclear weapons. So over the next couple of episodes, nuclear bombs are going to be phased out of the world. Once they're gone, they are completely illegal. Which brings me to number two: ban on all research, production, and possession of nuclear arms. So once they're all gone, well now it is completely illegal to um research them, produce them, and have them in any way possible. A new international agency is formed. It's called INDA, International Nuclear Disarmament Authority. Head, headquarters in neutral territories like Switzerland, Austria, um, mm, I think that's it. Really, just it's mainly this one. There is a headquarters in Austria though. All future all future violations considered a crime against humanity. So if any nation has nuclear bombs and doesn't follow this treaty, it is a crime against humanity. Going over to Japan for the second major treaty, the Tokyo Accords. This one was signed in Tokyo by the remaining Japanese um, military staff and whatever that didn't get killed by the nuke in Tokyo. But actually, this wouldn't be found in Tokyo. We'll say in a bunker in Tokyo. I don't know how they get there, but they get there. Japan is dissolved as a unified nation. It is replaced with independent principalities and republics, as you see on the map. All former puppet states, Indonesia, Thailand, Japanese Turkey, gained full independence, which I didn't do. I didn't do. I only did the Asian peace section of the peace treaty yet. So Japan's war criminals are tried. So high military commanders, um, basically whoever was committing war crimes on Chinese soldiers are tried in um different places in China. We have Beijing, um, other Chinese cities I don't know the name of. Japan is permanently banned from having a military leisure than self-defense force. Now this one is well, it's very much considered in peace treaty, but this is the only one that it's like these nations aren't Japan. It's the principalities and other stuff. Um, so we'll have to see how that goes. Um, so now we have the Eastern Asian Reorganized Treaty. This is the third treaty. China regains partial independence under a new federalist democratic model. Basically, it's partial independence because China's still kind of unstable. It's not like they're gonna go into a civil war or anything, but it's like the Allies just want to look and um at China for full. It's not gonna take long. They just need to prove themselves that hey, we're not Japan, even though Japan ruled over most of us, most of our country. Not Japan, but Chinese, but China. So next episode, it's gonna be full independence. Korea reunifies under international oversight. Korea is now one independent nation, and the world is kind of looking at Korea for the same reason as, well, actually for a bigger reason, because Japan had nuclear silos and they were all destroyed with these 5 nukes. Um, so they were under Japanese rule for a long time. They just want to make sure that any Japanese remnants will be taken down. Indochina, now an independent and pro-German, gains international recognition and becomes a major regional power. So Indochina has influence over others join, but they have influence over. They have influence over all of in the circle here. Everything in that circle is their influence, and they are now officially a major power in the global world. South Asian nations agreed to reform. I'm gonna try that again. Southeast Asians Th- Southeast Asian nations agreed to form a defense and trade pact, much like ASEAN from real life. So that will include uh, Burma, uh, Indochina, and Thailand and Malaysia. Now, in the peace treaty, Thailand just got a change of government, so no land will be given there. Um, so now this treaty, um, the Continental Stability Charter. Borders are redrawn in Europe, which I haven't done, but borders might look a bit different depending on um ethnic majorities and where it comes. Probably it is there, but a few borders might change in between episodes. But honestly, probably not. It's kind of one of the weaker things of the peace treaty, but it is signed. Germany is recognized as the dominant power in Europe, but also must reduce troop presence in neutral and buffer states. So countries like Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechia, they must remove their troops from those nations, which they have no problem with. They don't care. Um, Africa's borders remain virtually intact post decolonization, but the United African Council is formed to stabilize the region. They just want to make sure that none of these guys have any um ideas for craziness, basically. Now the Cold Concord ceasefire between this is basically a ceasefire between Russia and Germany. This ceasefire is like there wasn't any fighting going on between them. They're just signing this because tensions between these two are kind of escalating a little bit post World War III. Russia agrees to halt expansion after reclaiming Siberia, so they will not be expanding anymore now that they reclaimed all of Siberia. And Germany and its allies recognize Russia's sovereignty over its regained territories. They understand that this is Russian land, and they never really considered this part of Siberia to be Japanese. They always considered it Russian. Both powers agree to a non-aggression pact, so they are now in a non-aggression pact with each other, and but there's mistrust in both of them. But one thing that kind of alarms the whole world is Russia does not sign the nuclear disarmament clause. This kind of confuses the world's like, you don't have any nuclear weapons, so why are you not selling it? But they're like, whatever. They don't have nuclear bombs, so whatever. So that is the um five major things. Like there's other smaller peace treaties, but this is those five were the major ones. Like the other ones were just regional. I'm gonna get the rest of this rest of this World War III peace treaty drawn up now. All right, so this is the final peace treaty. Um, we have Syria and Iraq getting land that they were going to get during their independence, but Japanese Turkey kind of didn't let them do that. Over in Europe, we have Belarus getting a new government. This government is the polar opposite of what they were now, with no expansional ideas, and it's not necessarily pro-German. It's just getting a new guy in there, not not gonna create wars or anything like that. Get this guy out, and that's it. That's the World War III peace treaty. So as we have we'll talk about the um denuclearization of the world. Poland dismantled its only one it has, and Germany ended the war with 118. They have now dismantled a lot more of them, and they have the remaining 67. So it's a mass. This is a massive shift to the world, and America hasn't disarmed any, but they're going to start doing that soon. So around a couple of weeks after, a couple of weeks after World War III, we have stuff. We have an investigation going in Tokyo. I don't know how that's possible. But we'll say it's possible. Um, they find something weird. There's no, like they have um a lot of papers um about them saying stuff for World War III and for World War III, but there's nothing on starting a rebellion in Africa. So Japan didn't fund the rebellion in Africa. So who did? Who funded that? The world is in question, and they have no idea. If Japan didn't do it, who could have funded it? The world is going to ask a whole bunch of nations around if they funded it or not. They asked South America, Oceania, Asia, which wouldn't really be a priority. But when they ask Russia, it's very secretive. They are like, so why are you not telling us? Um, we recognized your claim in Siberia, so why not help us with this? I'm sure you didn't do it, right? So it is a it is revealed that Russia has 250 nuclear bombs. This explains why the they didn't sign the disarmament of nuclear bombs in the Treaty of Geneva. This immediately is a crime against humanity. Germany is kind of puzzled on like how did they even get 250? That's a number that we never even got close to. We had 140. They had 110 more than us. How is this doable? Russia, in its opening statement about these nukes, said that they always had them. At the end of World War II, yes, it didn't work for for them. They nuked Finland, accidentally, but it's revealed that they never stopped the nuclear program, and when they actually claimed that they did, but they didn't, and they had the fastest nuclear tech growing in the world I probably should make that 250 bigger. They know that they work because they actually tested them on remote islands where when that is like in the 50s, where the Allies had no idea because they they didn't have the technology to actually figure them out. But now that the TVs, probably the box ones. I mean, it's 1970, 1978. So I don't know what TVs were that back then. But we'll say that TVs are a thing at this point, and it's mainstream media. This is going to be a difficult point for the world, and treat there's going to be a meeting in Geneva, which is going to happen post episode for, and then what the world will do against Russia is going to be underway. This is now the Cold War 2. Cold War 1 has ended for the collapse of Japan. This is the second Cold War. So it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes. I know where it's gonna go. Almost. Basically, no. But it is. This is at the point now where Cold War 2, Russia is the biggest nuclear power in the world when really when we all thought they didn't have any. Because I didn't say anything about this. I knew that they had them, but I didn't say anything about them. But they have now revealed that they have 250 nuclear bombs, and they announced that they will continue to build them. They will not disarm them. They will complete building them, and their nuclear program is good and very efficient. So the number of nuclear bombs is going to spike. That's where this episode ends. It's this is an hour-long recording. This is going to be a nightmare to edit and all this stuff. This is definitely gonna be like a 50-minute long video.